Hi, Heather. Thank you very much for coming here to talk to us about Harp Scotland. How are you doing today?
Hi, I'm good. Thanks, Victoria. Thanks so much for having me.
And I'm very excited to learn about Harp Scotland because that is actually something that I've learned through one of my teammates. He had participated in the very first course. So tell us about this online learning tool that you have and what is it that you're hoping to help harpists learn?
Sure. Okay. Well, Harp Scotland has been running now since February this year. And it was a course which was kind of an amalgamation of two ideas. So I've been creating online courses for 6 years now. And my first kind of foray into online courses was trying to help people develop their technique and understand that warm ups can be fun and they're not always just about scales. They're certainly not always just about learning keys, but they're about really sort of honing in on specific elements of your playing that you really want to work on. And then to do that, I developed a course called Technique Tuesday, which I ran 6 years ago, I think was the first one. And then what I wanted to do with my students was really specific to Scottish music, is that Scottish music has got this really rich history and culture behind it. And I'm really fortunate in that I studied Scottish music at university. So I had 4 years of studying not just how to play the harp, but also studied Gaelic language, Scots language, folklore and tradition, and all these other elements which make up Scottish folk music. And so I really wanted to give people the opportunity to not just learn tunes, but to learn where the tune came from and the traditions that surround it and the people who played it, how it was passed down, and all the parts of Scottish music. I call them the non-musical parts that I think give Scottish music a really unique sound. And I think when you know all those parts, that kind of background of the music, it helps you approach the music in a different way and maybe appreciate where it's come from and understand it better. And so Harp Scotland was born.
Give us an idea of the outline of each course when we sign on and how long does each course run?
Sure. Well, Harp Scotland is it's designed as a subscription. So it's designed that you kind of sign up and then that's you with me forever. That's what I'm hoping for. But so the way that Harp Scotland works is once you've signed up, we have a new theme every 2 months. So at the moment, we're actually just coming to the end of one of our themes, which was running throughout July and August. And throughout that 2 months of learning, 8 weeks of learning, you have the opportunity to learn one tune, which is born out of a theme. So, for example, the theme we've just been studying is the Blind Harper, who is a famous character in the history of harping in Scotland. And over the last 8 weeks, students have been given the same tune, Oren Do MacLeod Dunvegan, which means the Song of MacLeod of Dunvegan, which is a tune that the blind harper played. And when you work through the tune, you can choose 3 different levels. So the one tune I arrange for beginner players, intermediate players, and advanced players. And you can dip in and out, learn what you feel comfortable with, and maybe come back later and kind of do a bit more. So if you're working on the beginner arrangement to start with, you might want to come back later, start to incorporate elements of the intermediate. But the tune and the arrangement that you learn is very much interchangeable. So you can take bits from everything that you like if you want and put it all together to make your own. So that's the first element of Harp Scotland is you learn the tune and the arrangement. Then alongside that every week, so it's weekly videos you're given. Um, every week you're also given what we call in Harp Scotland a context video. So that's a video that sometimes has harping. Actually, I was going to say it doesn't have harping, but actually sometimes it does. But it gives you the kind of background and that kind of real historical understanding of the piece that we're playing or the theme. So again, for example, the theme this last 2 months has been the Blind Harper. So we've looked at Rory Dahl's life, his birth, his death, where he was employed, which is Dunvegan Castle in Stirling, in Skye. Stirling's where I'm from. Dunvegan Castle in Skye. And one of the context videos, we took a trip to Skye, and I
that's
filmed.
fun.
Yeah, I filmed at the castle, and you know, so every week you learn just a little bit about the context. And last, but by absolute no means least, you also, along with the main theme, you have a weekly warm-up video. And the weekly warm-ups are also themed. So throughout the 8 weeks, the 2 months that you're studying that Blind Harper theme, you're also studying a theme in your warm-ups. So our warm-ups and technique throughout July and August have been about developing melody through your warm-ups. How can you be more melodic in your playing? And this is what's so important about technique, is you're not just learning about pulling your fingers in or bending your thumbs or having your elbows out, but it can help you to develop really specific areas of your technique. So the 8 weeks of technique work has kind of culminated. This is our last week in kind of having a bank, shall you say, of exercises which will help you improve your melodic playing, improve your phrasing, your dynamics, and everything that kind of goes together to give you the beautiful melodic playing in your harping. So that's one way you can access Harp Scotland. That's through the subscription. And you sign up, it's a monthly fee, it's £25 per month, and you get a lot of content for that.
Yeah,
Very good value. Very good value. But you can also access Harp Scotland almost on the back foot. So you can, after the subscribers have had all the goodies, and my subscribers always get the information first and the lessons first, but once they've completed the 8 weeks, I then create a single course, and it's a little bit more expensive than if you subscribe, and there's some bonuses for subscribers, which I'll talk about in a little minute. But if you want to buy just one course on its own, like for example the Blind Harper, that will be available in September. Once the subscribers have finished it, you can buy just that course on its own, and you'll still get the 3 arrangements, you'll get the sheet music for those 3 arrangements, you get all the videos teaching those 3 arrangements, you'll get all the context videos, you get all the warm-up videos, but they're not fed to you weekly. You just get everything in one.
And you can work through it
however you want. And that's if you buy the course on its own. What you don't get if you buy the course on its own is access to a few other things, and it might help if I maybe share my screen.
Sure, of course, please.
So this is what my website looks like when you log into your dashboard. This is obviously my dashboard. So here I have every course I've ever created. Obviously, when you log into your dashboard, you'll have whatever course you've chosen to sign up for. Harp Scotland users are automatically signed up for 3 courses. 4 courses, sorry, 4 courses. And what you get is you get Harp Scotland. And this is the subscription course where you find your new tunes, your context videos, and you learn all that kind of background, meaty stuff, and your melodies. Then you also have weekly warm-up, and this is where you have your 8-week course, developing an area of technique. So we've had, for example, strengthening the weak 3rd finger, and we've had developing melody in your exercises as well. They go in there. And what you only get if you're a subscriber is you get access to Harp Basics and the Technique Bank. Harp Basics is what you would imagine, well, what I would imagine Harp Basics to be. So things like tuning your harp, changing a lever, maintenance of the harp, a little bit of theory. So there's a video in there just now called Understanding Fifths, Understanding Keys, etc., etc. So kind of the basics of music and harp playing. And the technique bank is, again, as it sounds, it's a bank of technical exercises. It's not courses like weekly warm up. It's just a bank of individual exercises that you can dip into, almost like, I guess, an index of technique. So that's what you get. Yeah.
And does the subscriber also have access to the course material after the course is over?
Yeah. So basically, once the course is over, the what will appear in their dashboard is a course. So, for example, at the moment, if I click into Harp Scotland, we don't need to hear my welcome message, of course, so we'll just pause that. What they have in Harp Scotland at the moment is all of our weeks on the blind harper. And this is where you get your videos, so you get your demonstration of what you're being taught that week, you get the learning videos, and something that I actually think is really important is the playthrough videos. So not only do you get a learning video where I'm teaching you, here's where you put your fingers, here's the rhythm, let's run through it together, but then you also get what I call a playthrough, which is essentially for you to revisit and practice along with me. Just play along what you've learnt that week as a practice, because sometimes once you've done all that learning and you've watched a long video that you're being taught all the stuff, you just want to practice. So that's just a practice video to play along with me. So they're all in there. And once we finish this theme, what will happen for Harp Scotland subscribers is this will all go blank. Harp Scotland will have nothing in it. And there'll be another course on subscribers' dashboard called The Blind Harper, where they can still access all the material, so you can revisit as often as you like. I wonder if I've got some here. I've just got my theory courses, but it will appear here as a separate little course called The Blind Harper, and Harp Scotland will start filling up with the new theme.
So that's pretty handy because if you are a beginner right now and you want to go back and learn the more advanced arrangement later, you will still have all the material with you.
Exactly. And there's a lot of Harp Scotland subscribers who are in that exact position, and a lot of feedback I've got is that they actually, the more beginner harpists really love watching even the teaching videos for the intermediate and advanced, because they pick up little tips, or there's maybe something just small that they want to pick out of that arrangement, put it into the beginners, and just try that small element as opposed to the whole advanced arrangement, for example. I'm going to stop sharing this so I can talk to you properly. But yeah, as you say, in a year's time, if you're still subscribing to Harp Scotland, you can pop back and have a go at one of the more challenging arrangements.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And how can we go about and subscribe or purchase the course?
So you just want to head over to my website, www.heatherdowney.co.uk, and click through to Harp Scotland, and you can subscribe. You just sign up, put your details in, and you are officially a subscriber. Oh, and the other thing you get if you subscribe actually is at the end of each theme, we do a live Zoom with me. So we run through the piece that we've played. You can ask questions. A lot of people ask about technique. We do it about troubleshooting, which I absolutely love. Probably one of my favorite things. And we just have a right good chat. The Harp Scotland subscribers are so lovely.
That's actually can be very helpful for learners who are just on their own and can use a little bit of feedback here and there, right?
Absolutely, awesome. Yeah. And if you do want feedback here and there, I've got tiers of subscription. So the basic subscription is what we've talked about, is £25 a month. But if you want more feedback, you can actually sign up for one of my feedback options, where you can send me a little bit more of your playing and get some personal feedback. So I've got 2 different levels of feedback if you're interested in having a bit more of that kind of personal stuff.
That's awesome. I'm going to post the link to your website in the video description so our viewers can check out Harp Scotland. And thank you very much for telling us about this course.
Thank you.